another one. What's it like to come back?
You know, it's always pretty much the same. You know, I think guys are many times physically ready to be back, maybe not fully emotionally ready to be back, because you know, when pitchers and catchers report, it's kind of like that redundant, everyday drills. You know, the first 2 days are great. You get to see the guys and kind of talk about your off seasons, and then after that, you know, you could only cover first base so many times where it gets really old. But the exciting time is when the games start and you kind of get your adrenaline flowing again and get into game mode.
So how was the off season for you?
The off season was very fast. It's amazing how, you know, 2 weeks cutting into your off season, which is a good 2 weeks to cut in your off season, but it's amazing when that happens, how fast your off season goes. So I felt like I really only had 2 weeks off before I started training again, and didn't really go on any vacations or anything like that, just kind of getting ready for 2012. So in that way, it goes by really fast. It's nice to have that time at home, but you're realizing that, you know, you got another year ahead of you and to get ready for it.
Speaking about getting ready for 2012, what did you guys pick up from last season, the success you guys had, that's going to help you coming into this year?
I think there's a lot of things that I think we understand. You know, we had times in the very beginning of the season last year where we were really inconsistent, and I don't think we really knew what kind of team we were. We didn't have an identity, and I think, you know, we're going to have to find that again this year. You know, obviously with Prince not being here, we have some older guys that were in the bullpen that really had some great leadership roles that aren't going to be here. So I think in a way we have to find ourselves again, and hopefully we do that, you know, as soon as possible. You can't really do that in spring training because there's so many different guys here, guys trying to make the team. But when the season starts, you know, I think if we find out who we are immediately, I think we can get on a good roll early. But I think we have a good, strong team and good pitching that'll definitely help us out.
Dovetails right into my next question. The pitching, you guys were so strong last year. All the starters, at least 10 wins. I mean, just talk about the strength of the staff and everybody coming back.
Well, I think everybody on this staff has a good idea how to pitch. I think, you know, the main thing, as cliche as it sounds, is that we make every start and we're healthy. You know, last year we had a remarkable stat of only having 6 starters all year, and the one guy that replaced Narvi was Marco, and when he came in and stepped up, he did a great job. So I think as long as we keep Zach off the basketball courts and we don't let Narvi around any scissors, you know, it should be pretty amazing. So, you know, I think if we do that, we'll have a strong year.
What concerns do you have? I mean, you mentioned Prince. Who knows what's going to happen with Bronny? We'll know in the next couple of days. Just what concerns do you have coming into this year?
I think my concerns with this team are the same with every other team. You know, it's the not knowing what's going to happen during the year. You know, always concerns are health. You know, I think injuries happen and crazy things happen, and not crazy things happen. You know, it's just a part of playing the game that injuries happen. So I think that's the only concern I really have. I think if we're healthy, we're going to be fine. I think the 2 additions we made on the left side of the infield are going to definitely compensate for losing a guy like Prince. You know, with their defense and offense, it's obviously Prince's shoes are pretty big. But, you know, Matt going over first base, he's always had a great time in AAA, and we just hope that transfers over to the big leagues. And if he does, you know, anything where he's capable of doing, I think he'll do a great job over there.
Last question, Tony Lewis, Aramis as well, his addition.
It's huge. You know, I've played against him for a really long time. He's a good defender. He's a clutch hitter. He's one of those guys that when runners are on base, he seems to come through and be a big RBI guy. I think the fact that he's always kind of started off slow, I think a lot of that has to do with playing in Pittsburgh and playing in Chicago. He's playing in an open air environment in 2 very cold places, and I think even though it's not the warmest time in Milwaukee, it's a roof. I think the fans will be out there early, and that usually warms up the stadium right there. He always does well in Miller Park, and I think that'll help him also. So I think with all those elements there, I think those are good things for us.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.